Good morning, family. As we realize that we are really here, as we awaken to our truth of being and let it flow uninhibited. The freedom that we have always been ensues. Rejuvenated, regenerated being within us and all around us. Cellular regeneration. Atomic amplification. Energetic overflowing exhilaration. So this topic of regeneration is something that we as a family have been teaching, and micro and macro regeneration, meaning our external regeneration through mimicking nature, observing and opening ourselves to all that Mother Nature offers us, shares with us. Each of those blessings open a new understanding of our regeneration, of the process of being regenerative. I'd like to start by saying we all know that our environment is and has been overrun with chemicals. Our agriculture, our soils, our air, our brothers and sisters, each of our families, our Mother Earth. Chemical toxicity within our bodies. We need to awaken to the simple truth that we can't fix a chemical toxicity with more chemicals. As natural beings and part of our natural environment, ingrained and intrinsically connected to all of Mother Nature. We can easily see that the harmony that we are has been systematically compromised by these chemicals, by the toxic levels of these chemicals on our Mother Earth and in our soils, our air, our water, our bodies, our families, our communities, our countries, our entire Earth. And that brings in the topic of separation. This systematic decline in health within our bodies and also the systematic decline in health within our soils are directly connected, and for very obvious reasons, and for various reasons. For years now, since the mid-90s, there have been chemical companies spraying highly poisonous chemicals on our agriculture. And we as a species have been consuming this so-called food, nutrition, for many years now, for about 30 years, and the health impacts that it has caused amongst our species is sort of shocking. When you look at the numbers, the drastic decline in health in what is supposed to be the most advanced country on earth is it's shocking. And it's not simply among the poor or the lower class. It's everywhere, in every family. And I just shared the reasons. So after the traditional agriculture is completely broken because we're poisoning our families and our earth, and even our crops. I mean, our sustainability as farmers has just simply disappeared, which is, caused this need for the assistance of a government that is built in separation, that is built in division. Okay, so we don't get where we are as Americans. We don't get to this place. We don't get to this collective evolution by giving up. We've never been a people that have quit. If you look at all of the hardships that are going on across our country and the world, it's sort of staggering. The chemicals that we're all consuming at a regular rate, and then, they cause all of these symptoms, this dis-ease. We then go to the doctors and, explain our symptoms, and they give us more chemicals. And these chemicals that we're introducing into our natural beings, our natural bodies, causing more harm. I am a person that has lived that. I've experienced that. Sadly, so many people have lost their lives due to these so-called medicines. And it doesn't matter which medication you are looking at. And when you realize that as natural beings, nature will always be the best medicine. Nature will always be the best food. And by simply eliminating the chemicals from the equation entirely, we regenerate, we rejuvenate at a much faster rate. We slow the aging process. The technological advancements of today can be overwhelming when observe them. But that's in large part because we don't understand, we don't yet comprehend our natural being, our natural state, and for many, our resistance-free existence. There are masters on earth that they share their wisdom with their people, and this connection that we all have, this bridge that we all are, these things that we learn, which are always received as memories, are the expansion. They are our return to our wholeness. And as we lift the veil that we placed upon ourselves as gods, and we step out of the ego's world, we step out of the fear, the manipulation, the control, the separation. We step out of the division and the systems of entrainment and conditioning. And we find our truth of being, and that in that place of resistance-free existence, there is only overflowing love. There is overflowing light in every dimension, every direction. It is our only truth. As creators, we have been manipulated. We have been placed in a state of hypnosis and then in a state of amnesia. We control our reality. We create our reality as creators. We create our reality as God through our sacred words, our sacred thoughts, our sacred feelings, and our sacred actions. And if we are taught a multitude of separation to live through, we are creating, affirming, manifesting that reality of separation and pain and fear and lack and war and hunger and pain and depression, anxiety. We are being entrained in this dis-ease from every direction. Chemical imbalance, leading to chemical toxicity, as young children, we are taught to manipulate ourselves as creators to limit to prevent, to hide. Something that we often talk about as brothers and sisters is a sense of worthlessness that we are taught through our experiences in life. But that comes from the system of separation that we're all trained in. It's so difficult for us to even recognize our truth of being. We have to silence the mind the thought, the ego. And we can do that in a multitude of different ways. Just to name a few, we can do it with breath, we can do it with meditation, we can do it with music, we can do it with ultimate joy and satisfaction in our lives, we can do it with plant-assisted therapy, we can do it with so many different sacred mushrooms. We can do it with our observation with nature. All of these different means of observation of our truth of being offer us insight into our collective evolution as a species. Evolution passed far beyond the teachings of our previous masters, some of which you are, by the way. All of which you are. In that bridge of your limitless nature, you are all being. Directly connected and intertwined with all that you are. Maybe I should use some examples to explain what I mean. One that I use typically for the systems of separation, you can find them within anything. You can find them in education, you can find them in specific parts of education, you can find them in just about any system. But I mentioned our government earlier, so let's go there. Our government is of, by, and for the people. And that's the foundation that we need to be. And release the separation that is separation. That is the separate parties, the left and the right, the red and the blue, the Democrats and Republicans and Libertarians and the Green Party and the every other separation that we can think of possibly putting in there. And then we have the people that are separated, the constituents, the representatives, the public, the representatives, the senators, governors. And then we have branches of government that are also separate. And then we have agencies of government that are also systems of separation. To compartmentalize or to box all aspects of reality, and then to box you into this inner separation, this internal separation from you as a creator. And I can show you this in a multitude of ways as well. Why do you think you're not taught the universal laws? The laws through which you create your reality. Why is it, do you have any feelings or I think most know why these are hidden secrets. We all have an intuition and innate knowing about these things. We've all lived in the fire for so long that sooner or later everyone will awaken to the blessings of those challenges and expand exponentially from that awakening. All collective. all connected, all one. All you. Family. That's what I initially found. Well, I initially found some inner peace and overflowing bliss. Very quickly found within that truth of being family. All my brothers and sisters across this planet, those that have transitioned back into the non-physical, those that are with us here now, and those that are coming back in. All family, all of creation, all family, and also within. The fractal continues, and as creators of this energy, we are the divinity that expands and blossoms this collective evolution. As we find ourselves free-floating in this energy of our being, embraced by our wholeness and supported by our knowing, the ineffable, the inexplicable becomes all that we allow it to. Expansion far beyond any comprehension of current mathematics, current science, current life, current thriving. The meek are regenerative because the meek are so very strong to rise from the fire. Rebirth, it's this thing that you know, and it can never be taken from you. To know and to be reassured in a constant stream of synchronicity and thriving life, interaction with brothers and sisters that change you every moment. This new energy becoming our wholeness and becoming our expansion. As the living form, the living expression, the living expansion of God, you are limitless. And by living your truth through your attunement, through your alignment with your real, by releasing all that no longer serves you, by releasing all that was created to limit your expansion, your expression in your living form, by releasing all of that fear and pain and depression and chemical toxicity and sorrow and depression and addiction, enslavement, by releasing all of it, all of that separation, and honoring our truth of being, honoring our thriving network of love, the only real that has ever existed, becomes this expanding regeneration of you. In every way, every seed that you sow, every sacred seed is now attracting each of your affirmations tied to your desires and the celebration of that manifestation as you're in the process of creating it. The alignment with your truth of being becomes your mastery. The celebration of the full manifestation of each affirmation becomes your telemetry, your trajectory, because it's being supported by your wholeness, which is a vortex of energy that you have always been. This wholeness and this connection and this bridge connects you to all that you are. And by releasing that ego, which some perceive as a protective mechanism because we needed it in the time of darkness. We needed that, our perception was that we needed that cloak of protection, or that box around, that shell around our hearts, around our beings, enslaved us because our truth was unable to flow uninhibited. Our truth of being that expands in every direction, that heals in every direction, that becomes your ease of being, has been manipulated. Because when we're in that protective mechanism, it's easy to use these systems of separation and enslavement to manipulate each of us that were in that state of hypnosis. That lost tribe is now found. And we have been searching as individuals. But the truth, brothers and sisters, is that there is no individual. There is no self. There is no separation. There is no competition. These are all systems of the big lie. These are all tools used to manipulate and control 7 billion gods. As creators, realizing, remembering, regenerating, rejuvenating, celebrating with 2 L's, our union, our communion, our remembered family. As we find that inner peace and harmony, and find our ability to share with these sacred seeds every day, we co-create a collective evolution that is far beyond anything we can currently comprehend. By simply turning all of your life's challenges into blessings. By simply choosing your seeds of creation through your desire. Through your desire of the present and your desire of the future. Meaning, by living in the feeling of your desired manifestation, by living in the feeling of that celebration, that joy, that harmony, that resonance, now, no longer tethered to the BS or the entrainment or the big lie, but being your truth. Now, celebrating, honoring, appreciating, loving, seeing, being the energy of that celebration. It's empowering for every new step that you take. It's empowering for all of our collective evolution as a family. This golden age is supported with an advancement in connection, is supported with all that we are. 5 senses. We don't have 5 senses, brothers and sisters. The 5 that we, are taught that we live through, sure, they're really important, but I believe they're all secondary. Our one primal sense is our truth of being. It is our highest vibration. It is our highest truth. Love is the foundation. Love is the multi-directional, multi-dimensional sense of all being. It is the harmony. It is the energy. In some forms of math, they call it dark matter and dark energy. It is anything but. Through this primal sense of being, through this knowing, some would use the word gnosis, Gnosis. Through this gnosis of being, through this flowing sense, multi-directional, we expand all of our primary senses. We, to whatever degree we allow, we resonate with and allow all of our primary senses. And these have been labeled in the past as extrasensory perception. In the past, there have been brothers and sisters who have found their ability within to connect to that larger part of themselves in multiple different streams of clairvoyance and extrasensory perception. These are our primary senses, and they are also multi-directional and multi-dimensional. And as we allow ourselves to expand in these ways, all of our secondary senses become attuned and aligned in and with and through our primal and primary sense of being. Limitation is not something that is real unless we allow it. War is not something that is real unless we as a family allow it. And I can no longer see my brothers and sisters, my children in any country, harmed in any way because of the greed of a few that have enslaved our entire species, our entire family, by enslaving our consciousness. The superconscious, the higher aspect of consciousness, the part of you that connects you, to the real you, as we connect to the source of our being, as we connect to that which we all are, as we honor, appreciate, and send our highest love, as we surrender in that truth, we are immediately freed. Freed in a way that the logos within is constantly experiencing this system of reassurance and this system of connection and this system of love and expansion and truth. This foundation of love becomes an expansion of light. As a family, we are blessed in so many ways. We have all of these groups that are such a blessing to our family. We're part of so many different connections, so many bridges that all connect in the same place of regeneration and rejuvenation and truth and honor. As we find our truth of being, as we resonate in our collective emergence and expand far beyond any recognition into our true, limitless nature, into our true power as creators. Into our compassionate interaction. Magic happens all around us. This is a reality that we've lived as a family for many years. But the expansion, it just keeps going. It doesn't slow. Recently we had a international conference, international regenerative conference. And my sons, our sons set this up. Through their process of regeneration and rebirth, they studied soil regeneration, regenerative farming, agriculture. And I studied our ability to regenerate our biological system, our cellular being. And the regenerative aspects of our cellular being require amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks to cellular regeneration. And they are being stripped from our foods because of our chemical agriculture. And this chemical agriculture has, in doing so, stripped our body's abilities to regenerate faster than we decline. Which is why we are seeing so much disease, or one of the biggest reasons we are seeing so much disease. As a family, we have put this information together with so many different areas of study. I mentioned mathematics, that's a major one, but mathematics and science, they're just systems of measurement and observation. They just help us explain what we observe, and in another language or in another set of symbols. Much like the communication that we're having right now. And by the way, please send me any and all questions. I'm happy to talk about all the universal laws and how they play the primal role in building your reality through you and through our choices. But are they really our choices is what I was trying to get to.